like, it seems like most people are like, oh no, he's doing his own thing.
Correct.
Like, you know, like whatever. But there will still, yeah. I mean, you guys know hate. I have questions about that. What do you got?
That was a kind of refreshing answer. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of seems like he's up his own ass a little bit. Calling Kill Tony fans low IQ and not even batting an eyelid, like he's actually being for real. Yeah, their fans are kind of dumb, like, you know. That is fucking brilliant. I'm not gonna lie, that is fucking brilliant. And now he's gonna get into the Reddit hate, right? Now he's gonna get into the Reddit hate.
Oh please!
Well, why are you guys hated so much? Like, why do you guys get all this hate?
Why do we get hate so much?
Yeah.
We've been around for 14 years,
so
forever.
And so what happens?
And then how do you deal with that? Like, what?
You don't.
You're just like, fuck it at this point.
No, we shouldn't say we don't, because
he's got so many good tells, isn't it? He's got so many tells when he's like feeling a little bit vulnerable, when he's feeling a little bit sensitive, anxious, when he's gonna lie. He's got a lot of tells, isn't it? The fucking covering with the mouth, the eye rub, you know. Timmy No Breaks. Why do you guys get so much hate? I don't get it. You know, stop lying, man. You know. You know.
I think forever, like, you get advice from like Rogan, bigger dogs, and you're like, just ignore all of it, just don't. And there's that aspect of it. You don't want to like read all the comments nonstop, but like with the Reddit group we have now, it's like, you know, Nick Simmons, he's like, man, I think you guys should like shine some light on it. Like it's this elephant in the room. Like, it's not a bad thing. There's actually some really funny stuff on there.
It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. The time for him to lean into the Reddit would have been in the very beginning, when the Reddit hate started. The Reddit hate basically started when he shared that story about throwing the guy through the glass door, I think. I'm not gonna lie. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Reddit hate started because of that story he shared about eating his fucking roommate when he was playing football in college. He ate his roommate's food. The roommate didn't like it. He put his labels all over it. Brendan got upset. The guy put his labels all over it, ate all of it, got into a fight, threw him through a glass window. And then some guy the next week, right? Because back in those days, if you remember in TFATK, they used to have like an email section. Like, fans would send in emails, questions and shit. The following week, some guy sent an email in and was basically like, hey, I wasn't happy about that, you know? That was fucked up what you did. That sounded like a bullying. You're better than that, Brendan. And he had the worst attitude about it. Like, he was acting like a real cunt. Maybe I can get the video up about it. And I think that's what turned the Reddit against him. That was the beginning. And obviously the whole, like, you know, homeless cat fucking clip. But I think that was the first domino that fell. He should have led into the Reddit then. Because that's when the trolling started. When people started to realize, oh, this guy's a bit of a dickhead. He's not like a lovable fucking jock kind of Chad guy. He's like a bit of a bully. He's like a bit of a bad person, you know? And obviously all the over speaking, and obviously once you got popular in comedy, that went overall. But it's too late now. It's too late. It'll be disingenuous. He wouldn't be able to handle some of the stuff he sees on the Reddit anyway. He wouldn't be able to work. Let me see if I can find that clip though, of that guy that sent a letter in. Is this one?
He's without a doubt one of the great fighters.
So you have to ask.
Empower Gym in San Francisco, yeah.
Justin Tuck, Marshawn.
Well, let's see if I can find it. Let me write the word bully in the transcript. Maybe I can find it that way. If I write the word bully. He mentioned, let me see, bully. Here you go.
Evergreen trees.
They're
Back off of allergies.
fuck your allergies. Fuck
Here you go.
I want to address.
Here you go.
Calabasas.
Here you go.
I know. We got a.
This was when was this? This was in 2016. 5th of April 2016. This is the day after he shared the fucking. This is the episode after he shared the famous story about throwing the guy through the glass window and shit, right? And he was laughing about it. A fan emails in, and they read the fan's email.
An email.
Oh yeah, what's it about?
Well, I guess your story about spitting in a guy's face and throwing him through a plate glass window.
Whoa! You talk. The context here: D'Angelo Russell, Swaggy P. They're having problems on the team.
He says, that's what you did though. Whoa. But that's what you did. You spat in the guy's face and threw him through a glass window because he wouldn't share his food with you. Essentially, that is it. He didn't want to share his food with you, so he spat in his face and threw him through a window. That sounds kind of fucked up.
And I said the way they should deal with it is the way that my coach dealt with it, and you let two guys figure it out.
Yes.
It's not bullying. It's how you figure out a solution between two
on a team.
high-level
If
athletes.
it's high-level athletes, you might want to let them slug it out.
Yes,
maybe
that was
You know
the
what I mean?
context. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't call the cops.
Or
don't do anything.
Or the one guy who fucked up says, "Hey, bro,
Apologize.
I'm really
Yes.
sorry." Shakes his
Man to
hand and
man.
said, "Please forgive me. I fucked up."
Yes.
And
Here's my girl.
And by the way, if here's my girl, if you want to punch me in the face,
my girl,
I'll take
here's a
it.
Rolex,
I'll
here's a
take
pair
it
of
because I
Yeezys.
deserve it, and I'm buying you a gift.
Yes.
And but man to man,
Fine.
you know, said man to man.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Remember the context before you read this email. Go ahead, Brian.
Look, he's rubbing his eyes again. Look at the tail. He's been doing it for years, isn't it? He's been doing it for years. The rubbing of the eyes thing. He's been doing it for fucking years.
guess Luke Dennis wrote
Great
a very
name.
eloquent email. Said he was pretty surprised by the story you told last week about the incident you had with your former college roommate.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed out of character from the Brendan I've come to know over the past few years. I'm older than you by a few years, but I
Look at his face. Look at his face, though. Look at this. This email is very polite. It's to the point. It's kind of, whatever. Look at Brendan's face. Look at the faces he's making. This is why people don't like you, bro. This is why people hate you.
I have come to look up to you in a way. You guys have made me reflect on myself and motivated me to take my life a little more seriously than I had been. But then he goes on to say your roommate, but he says that this is the first time where I thought, whoa, maybe I don't like this guy as much.
Exactly.
The roommate had every right to write his name on his food. He had every right to draw dicks and balls on it if he wanted to. His shit is his shit.
I wish you would have drawn dicks and balls.
Me too. The message you sent by eating and throwing out his food was, I'm going to eat your shit and disrespect you, and there isn't a goddamn thing you can do about it. Fuck you. And then you further disrespected this guy on the most personal level by telling his mother to fuck off. The parking spot response was a little petty on his part, but then again, if those were the rules, he had every right to park his bike there. And then he goes on to say, your thing would have probably gotten broken into anyway, but what happened was you spit in his face, threw him through a glass door, and this to you is handling the situation as men. And then you criticize him for calling the cops. You mentioned that
He's look at his face he's making. He's so childish, isn't it? This is why people hate him. Honestly, this is such a good example of why people hate this guy. Imagine this is his response. This is your email. You're sending us a fan. You want him to be reassured that he's not a dickhead. You want him to reassure you that he's not a dickhead, right? You want him to reassure you that he's not a fucking douchebag because you're like, hold on, this guy's a bit of a prick. What the fuck's the story? And look all the faces he's making. Look at how fucking rude and dismissive he's being about the whole thing. Oh my god, Brendan. This is such an easy way just to kind of get your fans back on the side of you. Like, hey guys, I know that sounded fucked up. I shared the story thinking I sounded like a badass, but that wasn't okay. I reached out to the guy behind the scenes to say I'm sorry, and I don't condone this sort of stuff. I'm trying to teach my kids to be. This is an easy time to get some good PR, change the narrative, but instead he's acting even more like a bully here.
Told your roommates you said that.
Call his mom.
Called his mom.
Big difference.
Yeah. But he did. I guess he did call the cops later, right?
He tried.
Yes. Okay.
The cop said, "What? Get the fuck out of here." They really did.
And then he goes on to say, you mentioned that you told your teammates, you said, I'm good at telling stories. That was a subtle admission that you spun the story in your favor and manipulated your teammates to turn on this guy and take your side. So he basically goes on to say, listen, I just wanted to write this. I had to say this because I'm a huge fan of the show. And he brings me into it because I was very supportive of, your point of view on this. And I'm grabbing my own ass. It turns me on. And then he goes on to say, and then he goes on to say,
300 shows.
Sorry, I know. Then he goes on to say, if you had told me a story about how a guy spit in your face, through a glass plate window because you didn't want to fight, that I would be like, oh, that's terrible. But I'd probably be like, hey,
you wouldn't be doing a show with me. I sure as fuck wouldn't have my face up there.
Hey, I hate to say this.
It's true.
But I agree with you 100%.
No, listen.
I hate to say it.
I get the outcry. If you just listen to that story, like, oh my God, Brendan bullied a guy. First of all,
yes. And by the way,
the
just
context is
one caveat really quick. He just said, I wrote this because there are thousands of young men listening to you. And he said, you might have been setting the...
This is why we don't real comments. Post and ghost.
Basically, that's a good reason. Probably that's why he doesn't read comments. Because if he does read the comments, they're not going to be all on his side. That's actually a really good point. That's actually a really fucking good point.
wrong example or giving the wrong message.
He's wrong on that,
Right.
because if you look at the context, I was saying how to deal with a certain situation.
Yes.
Everyone this day and age wants to get lawyers involved, call their mom, call their parents.
Yes.
21 years old, Division I athletes.
Yes.
They want to include all this paperwork and not deal with it man to man. The message to whoever's listening.
You didn't deal with it man to man though. You dealt with it in an infantile way, in a petty, childish way. He told you not to eat his stuff. He drew boundaries, and you went ahead and ate it anyway, and then threw the rest of it out. You didn't deal with it man to man. You didn't wait for him to come back home the next day and then sat him down and be like, "Hey man, let's have a discussion about the food in this house," and kind of go over his concerns or whatever, which would have still been weird anyway. It's his fucking food. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to piss in his food, he can fucking do that. You didn't deal with it man to man. You dealt with it child to child or child to man. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. This guy
Who's young is at some point in your life, you have to draw a line in the sand.
Yeah.
No one's going to get you out of it. No one's going to help you with it. And you have to say, here's the deal. This is the deal. Now, as far as me being a bully, there's no bully here. He was bigger than me.
You're not a bully.
He was older than me. Yeah. This has been a reoccurring issue for
you don't have to be bigger than somebody to be a bully. Brendan's like, he's got like an American movie sort of like way of like reasoning and rationalizing his life, innit? Everything is based on movies. You don't have to be a bigger person to bully somebody. Like what?
a long time.
He was messing with you. Well, part of what you left out of the story was this guy had been messing with you for many months.
A long time.
Yeah.
A long time. And
messing with you by not telling you to eat his food. So he was the victim. Oh, okay. I forgot. He was the victim in this whole thing. Okay, I get it.
And that was just the icing on the cake on top of things. And finally I said, you know what? I've tried talking.
You
to
were
him.
being bullied in a way.
I was being bullied. I tried talking to him.
Of course. No, I wasn't the bully. I was being bullied. He wouldn't let me eat his Pop-Tarts. He was bullying me.
Many times. That did not work. So then finally I said...
That wasn't the first time his mother had called you.
No,
either,
not
right?
at all. She called me 7 or 8 times, which is so embarrassing.
So weird.
So you can't be my friend.
And you didn't say fuck off.
I didn't say fuck off. I was
you
like,
were
get
being
out of here.
dramatic.
Yeah, just close the
You
phone.
laughed and closed the phone.
And that was the icing on the cake. Drew a line in the sand. I said, here's the deal. Either you go or I go. We're going to fight about this. Mm-hmm. No one's going to call the cops. No one's really going to get hurt.
Right.
We just fight.
You're going to slug it out. You can slug it out.
The loser leaves.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right.
There's no bullying here.
Right.
And, you know,
it'd be a little bit like getting in a ring, right? With gloves and saying, you know.
Anyway, you get the point. Brendan's a piece of shit. Always has been a piece of shit from day one. No matter leaning into the Reddit is going to change that. The Reddit people know him more than he knows himself for the most part. It's not going to work.